from there. There's a bit of a quagmire when it comes to hockey, Norbert. Our under 21 teams, what about it?
Yeah, it's not looking good, Rainbow. You know, I don't know who to blame now.
Well, someone needs to blame.
Yes, yeah. Indeed, someone has to. You need to blame someone. But the sad thing about the situation that we always find ourselves in, particularly when it comes to sports, is that no one wants to take responsibility for their mistakes. But the SRC, you have to put them in the picture because they are. It's their job, and you also have the Hockey Federation of Zimbabwe. I think they need to sit down and look at where they are getting it wrong and find an amicable solution that can help our hockey.
Well, I can throw some salt into that one. You said the right thing. Apparently, the relations between SRC and the Hockey Association of Zimbabwe were not necessarily that good, not sweet, in the sense that there is a bit of a standoff nature between the two, and this stems even going back to the Central Southern African qualifier tournament, where we saw our senior women's as well as senior men's teams playing for places for the Africa Cup. Right now, our men's team didn't make it, our women's team did. The invitation went out to the currently suspended Director General, that is Elton Ngomasha, and she did not pitch for whatever reason. But we do know that if you're a Director General, you're invited, surely, unless you've got a meeting with the minister and with the president, then maybe that's when you can say no. And maybe let's just say there was a meeting like that, but she didn't pitch, she didn't come. Now that there is the acting Director General, Sebastian Garika, maybe he'll be able to throw some of those relationships and try and deal with those things. But it doesn't seem like as if there's a good repertoire between the two.
Yeah, I think they need to sort that one out, because look where the SRC offices are. They have the National Sports Stadium. What other stadium is next to the next National Sports Stadium?
It's Magamba.
It's Magamba Hockey, which is dilapidated over the years. Now we are relying on Group A schools ground.
Yeah, that's
yet we have a big and nice stadium in Magamba Hockey. And it just shows you that somewhere is not going on well. So they need to sit down and find a solution that can help. It's not about individuals, it's about the nation. We've got players at stake here, talented players. We are the only African team to have won a gold at the Olympics at hockey. And now
we can't even qualify for hockey.
Why? Simply because players are pulling out, because there's no funding, there's no what. I've always said, if you look at our sport, my biggest cry is every sport in Zimbabwe, the negligence that is given to the women's side. Yet they are the teams that have been doing well. They've been performing well. Look at soccer, the Rio 2016, the Mighty Warriors did. The Warriors under 23 have never done that. Look at cricket. I saw when we lost that T20, the under 19s, they were crying. I've never seen guys crying after failing to qualify. It means they've got the passion. And now to see that this is happening with our hockey, while we think we are building for the future, but now we are destroying for the future.
It's a bit of a challenge. And whilst actually talking about that, we did have a prior interview. We highlighted it right here on Sports Extra on our YouTube channel. You can see it with the women's coach, that is Tendai Maredza, when he highlighted some of the challenges that are faced in hockey.
The ladies. All right, let's talk about the issue of Zimbabwean hockey. Right now, we've seen the likes of Namibia. They are streaking away. Zambia seems to be really coming up strong. You also had a pretty tough match against them. What does that say for Zimbabwean hockey, and what needs to be done?
Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of factors that have stopped our progress in terms of Zimbabwe hockey. The first one being we're losing a lot of players after school to universities and all that. So when you look at it, we're always having a young team. and it's always not good to have a young team. You always need that experience. So we've got a lot of players that are out there. Look at the previous under-21s from 2016 up until now. We haven't been able to return all those players, and that's experience that is gone, and we can't get it back. But the moment we can just maybe capture those players back again into the system, I think that's going to help, because you always want that experience with the youth also. Combining together, I think we're actually a strong hockey nation.
Well, as you can hear for yourself, that challenges around funding, around financing have always been an issue for hockey. And now they're going to the Junior Africa Cup. It means that they might have to take lesser players, or because they do not have the finances to fly in some players already at university. They need money in order to be flown down here. I know that there's an initiative that Hockey Association of Zimbabwe has put together, and I think you saw it in the interview that we had with representatives from the under-21 hockey sides, talking about the sponsor a player, sponsor a team, which really, in my view, is a desperate attempt to try and get our teams to go and represent the country, which is where SRC now comes into the picture. Now, Acting Director General Sebastian Garikai is also a very good friend of mine, and my hope is that somehow, some way, the SRC, even through the Ministry of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture, will intervene in this situation and definitely bring a resolution.